This from United Arab Emirates. His name is Fragger. Gave us a little show there, a gun show before the games get started. With a name like that, I hope he's putting the numbers up for his team.
He's got to put his money where his mouth is, right?
Yeah.
Money where his mouth is? I think that's the right saying. Obviously, you can name yourself Fragger, but if you can't do it in game, then you know what? You're going to struggle. And again, kills is going to go back to such a massive, important part when it comes to the new point system we have. We've seen teams at the global finals for PMCO have more kills than like over 3/4 of the team had points total. And having that like raw fragging power gives you so much more control. It puts so much more fear into the eyes of your opponents. And also when it comes to dropping, like where you're gonna eventually drop down to, it might force teams to just run away. They might see your name and be like, all right, no, we're out. We're not gonna bother contesting this.
Well, I think team fighting is going to be a big part of this. I'm really curious about Nemesis, one of the 4 teams that we just saw highlighted there. They came through the regional qualifiers to get to this. They were one of 2 teams that made it here. They're known for being aggressive, so maybe they can make it work. A lot of times if you come through from one of these regional qualifiers, if you're not an established known team, you can carry that momentum over.
Well, that's the question, right? Aggression. You only have 4 matches total to play to place top 8 within your group. Do you want to come out the gate swinging? Do you want to be that aggressive, potentially get knocked down in 16th place?
That's what it comes down to, right? The confidence. If you want to just play for a later circle and pick up no kills, but then get knocked out in, let's say, 8th or 9th even. We saw before, it's very top heavy. You're not going to win doing that, honestly. Like, unless you can be very consistent to get that every single time, you can make it into the top 8. But it does raise an interesting question about what kind of strategies each one of these teams is going to bring into the match.
See, that's what I'm curious about. You said you won't be able to win. But winning is much different than top 8, right? But I agree. Like, you want to have like a good start to a tournament. You don't want to peak too early in the tournament, but you also don't want to have a terrible start. Knowing you only have 4 matches to be played, I feel like we're going to see some very cautious play out of every single team. And especially start things off on Erangel as well. I mean, that's going to be a comfort map out of every team here.
Yeah, I think for a lot of these teams coming into an international stage for the first time like this, you're going to play cautious naturally. It's not that you're afraid, it's that it's unknown. You don't know what to expect, what these other teams are going to do. You don't know if maybe in the scrims you were dropping somewhere and somebody changed their mind last minute. They're like, hey, we want Pachinki now. We know you seeded it to you in the scrims, but we didn't want to give away our strategy, like where we're going to drop in the city, what kind of houses we're going to get on, what Rufus we're going to take inside the city, that kind of thing.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get our first match underway here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Paper Thin and Valdez, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, our first game will be on Erangel here. We are flying. This is a nice, easy 45-degree angle plane path for these players to work with. Starting out right over Georgia Pole, making our way down to the south of Milta Power. So a mostly fair plane path. It's going to be a little tricky to get to somewhere like Primorsk, but other than that, everybody has a pretty fair shot at where they want to go.
Yeah, it's. I feel like the game is being very relaxed for the players. You know, you were talking about potential confidence issues or playing it cautiously. Well, this allows pretty much any team to get to where they want to go. So you don't have to feel the pressure of, oh, the flight path is too far south, but we're a team that likes to go up north. What are we gonna do? So I'm very curious. I feel like this is the best way to start off an entire tournament with a flight path like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's fun to have those crazy flight paths. They make for a much more interesting start where a lot of teams are maybe going to compete over vehicle spawn locations and that kind of thing. You might see a splatter or a run over here or there, but most likely to start this one out, I don't expect too much action unless some teams decide to hot drop each other. There you can see on your screen. This is 46 Naya. They are set up in Southern George, so they have control of one of the more desirable loot spots. Now, most teams are going to think that Pachinki is the best, and we are going to get our first circle coming across southwest side of the main continent here.
Yeah, you remember that the place you said it might be hard to reach is Primorsk down there in the bottom, but now after the circle pops up, you're thinking, well, that might be a decent spot to go if we want to go reach far out. And yeah, just spreading it out here. Nobody went too far north, as we can see just yet.
Yeah, maybe somebody like FP Team might realize that nobody else is to the west of them, and they might consider taking that southern road, going past Ferry Pier, going right to Primorsk if they feel like they can get a lot of loot early, if they feel like they can be one of the aggressive ones to take that situation. I don't think they will. Most teams don't like to do that. What most teams will do is just drop, loot their desired location, and then try to set up wherever they think is the best spot to either get kills or get placement points, whichever they're more likely to play for. But we do have two players that are pretty close to each other. Mao here with the UMP, not many bullets left, and Limbo is probably going to get out on this buggy.
Still shots are being fired,
Good luck,
but it looks like
MBC.
he is long gone. The UMP not really going to reach that range. Looks like he's going to set up shop here, though, at the house. He does have some allies with him now. And as we were mentioning before, a big question is how aggressive do these teams want to get? They easily could have just ran away and looked for a different place to loot. But let's see if they stand their ground.
All right, you got two members of MBZ up in the yellow houses. That is to the west of Pachinki there, so there's not going to be much action right away. Those compounds are decently far apart, so most likely you won't see too much action right away unless somebody gets really over aggressive. And indeed, FP is making their way down that southern road. I just saw this on the map. They are heading to Primorsk, so if you're kind of keeping your eye on that team, they did what I was kind of thinking they might do. They knew that nobody else was west of them on that southern side, and they are making a beeline for Primorsk right now.
Yeah, that is what is happening as the teams are spreading out. Nobody was actually going to the military base just yet after the flight path, but we do see a couple of teams are trying to get across the bridge right now, but it looks like Yala is in the best position to actually go down and loot that very valuable area in the military base. And it could even be a massive win if the circle does move down towards their spot. So I'll be taking a look at them to see if they get lucky, essentially, with the circles that come in.
Yeah, here is Divine Vendetta, not to be confused with regular Vendetta. They're quite close to each other, actually. Vendetta did drop Pachinki. Divine is over here to the west of Pachinki. They're going to load up in that UAZ, make their way on out. You can see MBZ was a little scared there. They proned because they probably heard that vehicle, potentially saw Mao, decided that that was not a situation they were real interested in getting involved in. So yeah, right now we're seeing it be pretty passive, pretty defensive. Nobody's gone and just outright bum rush somebody.
Yeah, nobody's really taking that extreme aggressive route just yet. Everybody's just spreading out here. I do wonder if the teams that are up towards Georgia Pole will butt heads here. We do have
siya yung leader ng ano namin ng
as
clan.
well as
Naka-join siya sa
team,
MBC.
just in north and south. Just might be able to run into each other as they do make their way down south to the circle.
Yeah, Valdez, I think that's a really good point. Sometimes it depends if you have one team that drops North George and one that drops South, which, you know, the North George team, when they have to come south, there's a couple different options. They can go around the mountain that's to the south of George, or they can try to cross that western bridge, that long bridge, and then take the western road. Now, if these teams got a read on each other in scrims or something like that, maybe 46 will try to set up a blockade of some kind. We'll see exactly what they want to do. Usually teams won't duke it out this early in competitive PUBG Mobile. You know, a lot of times we're finding many teams 12 plus into Circle 5, Circle 6, that kind of situation. But who knows in this lobby? There is a lot of unknowns here for us today. And again, really exciting to be here in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, for the first event of its kind.
Yeah, you know, we were talking with the host, actually, of the event, and he was kind of congratulating us because he was saying, hey, this is one of the first times that Saudi's putting up a big event. I do have to mention that Mao did get knocked over here, and it looks like he will be the first death of the entire tournament. Very far away from his team, as now Majid from Divine Vendetta trying to help out and fight, but they decide they're not going to take that 3v4.
Yeah, so Divine losing Mao early looks like he was trying to be kind of their more scout role for them in this situation. A lot of teams like these hills that are just to the north of Ferry Pier. You have a decent amount of cover, you have a decent amount of vision on them, but right now Divine is not happy with this situation, so they are going to move on. UI, they are coming across over by Ferry Pier as well. They're on that road there. See if anybody catches them in transition. Doesn't look like anybody's super close right now. UI has a bit of room to work with here. They do have that great team over there. That's B8, who is hanging out just to the west of Ferry Pier. So looks like both teams are kind of moving in, trying to figure out exactly where they want to set up and where's going to be safe. We're seeing a little vehicle-on-vehicle action here. UI has 4 members in here. It is just Steel. He's going to get out and try, but no, he is going to get dusted outside of there. That is going to be a kill picked up by UI.
questionable decision to not just continue runs like his buggy was about to explode. So it looked silly, but there really wasn't much he could do after he got caught out by this team. So another good start here to UI, I believe it was, that did pick up that kill.
Yeah, the risk reward to having 4 players in a vehicle. Yes, you have a lot of firepower in that vehicle, but if the firepower gets concentrated on your vehicle, you can lose your entire team very, very quickly. But this time does pay off for UI. Looks like they're going to be able to set up shop by Ferry Pier there, so keep an eye on them. Of course, Divine did lose a player early on. I would say Divine was a team that the Arabic casters was hyping up to me a bit. They said that this is a team that they think really has a shot. So there's only 4 games though, and losing 1 player early on, definitely not the way you want to get this going.
Yeah, Jason was talking about it. You really don't have too much of an opportunity to fight it and duke it out for your nation. As Yala, moving on over to the west side, you'll notice I talked about them before. They could have taken that movement over to military base. They decided against it, actually, and instead moved south, west, north of the river, and are looking to make it directly into the center of the circle. So in terms of play style, whenever we look at this map, it looks like there are about 7-8 teams already right smack dab in the middle of this circle.
Yeah, we should talk about a couple of the teams. One of them on your screen here, making late rotations. This is GG. Good game. They keep it simple. I like the name. They're coming in just to the west of Milt over by Farm. Up to the north, you've got MEA and 6N as well, coming up by School, and MEA's up by Razak. They're taking a bit of blue damage, but of course this early on, the blue isn't that significant. Now, whoa, whoa, whoa. This circle hard shifts southeast. That means a lot of Sosnovka military base is still in play, and that makes this a very difficult decision for these teams. Do they risk it and try to go across? Does a team like NEM try to come across? Does Nemesis want to come across to Sosnovka and maybe gatekeep that bridge?
That is the real question. I was mentioning it very early on, and, well, I suppose I caster blessed it, if you will, by saying that the military base is going to be involved in this game. But not just the base, but even just the bridge over to the base. I think north of that bridge is going to be insanely hot for the next couple of circles that do come in.
All right, yeah, you can see here, Nemesis is going to have to play blockades on the top of this bridge. There is a crate on the other side of this bridge as well, maybe to add a little incentive for a team to go over there. A lot of teams are rushing their way near the bridge, by the lighthouse, all of this. There are so many vehicles I can see on the map making their way in. GG is coming in here. You can see Thebes got his Dacia coming through, trying to fight. This is absolutely going to be crazy. AMB up here as well. There are so many teams that are already set up around this bridge because they know at this point it's not quite a 50-50 based on the landmass that's inside of the circle for each side, which way it's going to go, but it's pretty darn close.
It really doesn't get much closer than this, Clinton, and someone will be the victor. We'll have to wait and see who was kind of set up here originally. It looks like Arab Madness in a pretty good spot. We have a Nemesis, as you were talking about, but it's about to get real dicey. And we'll have to wait and see who is going to come out on top.
Yeah, some of those other spots along the coast by Ferry Pier aren't too bad in this situation either, because you can get a boat, try and get across. Now, GG, that is very, very weak. Menshar is not very healthy inside of that vehicle driving along the beach. Now, if you get more towards the water, you do have a bit more cover here, so it looks like he is going to be okay and be able to regroup with the rest of his team there. So an aggressive rotation here by GG. Saw a lot of teams near the bridge by the lighthouse and decided that the boat is the way to go.
Well, there's only so much room on the bridge. You don't want to overload the bridge and have it collapse. That would be disastrous. So if you can get to the water first and make it into a boat, you can kind of just chill out there and see if you can make it to the opposite side before any of the other teams who are trying to just shove it down the bridge.
And this is on the forest hill that is to the northeast of Ferry Pier. There are so many teams that want this location. If this circle this is going to be prime real estate. 46 cutting across in their vehicles right now. Not really taking a ton of fire. Hazard has taken a little bit of damage. Citizen trying to get some shots in. I think he was able to land just one there, but not much doing. Fragger, he's got members of teams coming up here. He's got a lot of taken down there as well. Overextends just a little bit.
Nasaan ba ang MBC dito?
Nemesis come up here to support him. Naya trying to cover the flanks.
Ah, nakikipaglaban
Salmon
din ng
goes down
NBC.
as well. So Escobar is trying to hold down the fort here for Nemesis.
And now you can see that he's kind of just going to go prone here in the house with Ghost.
Ghost.
They lost a couple of their allies, and they were split up 2 against 2. And what a great read here by 46 Loot to notice that.
Yan
and
na,
take a very
si Lodi
aggressive
Script.
approach and say, hey, I'm going in. Speaking of which here, though, nice knock from very far away here from Ghost.
That was some really nice shooting there by Ghost with that DP. He is going to make 46 pay just a little bit for that push. Like you were saying, a
Yan,
nice
abang sila.
push by 46.
Abang.
Knowing that there's a 4v2 situation there, they can take advantage of it. They end up losing 1, so a 3 for 2. Not too bad there, and they have a really good real estate location for themselves.
Boom!
Went hard
GG.
so far, staying on the main con.
Yeah, that beats for
Patay,
real estate.
tinambangan.
Nice and expensive now as good game. We were
Patay.
talking about them getting in the boat. They moved out way south of Primorsk even. And now they're really caught off guard
Patay,
here by
tambang
this
na.
circle. They have to try to make it in, but
Tambang
they
na ang
have,
GG.
I think it's 2, 3, even 4 teams on their west flank that
Wala,
they will have to
patay.
deal with before they move in. And speaking of which, it's not going too well.
Oh no. FP has found their boat, blown it up, got a couple members in transition. So GG tries to beach, does not work at all for them. They
Oh.
are going to potentially lose a couple members. And FP, I think
Patay
rightfully
na yung
so, getting
dalawa.
aggressive on this, going to set up
Ay,
on top of
GG
that hill.
na.
Careful there, don't want to run your teammates over, but
Mamamatay
it
na.
looks like it's okay. Thieve, I think, realizes that there is no way, but it might be too little, too late. Vadsel and the other members of FP putting some fire down into there.
Wala na,
Thieve is
mamamatay na
taking
yung
a little
dalawa
bit of damage, but
na
actually,
GG.
I think he's going to be able to get out.
It was just a mad dash. They knew they could not go back into the water. They knew they could not go west, so their vehicle nearly blows up. But at the end of the day, looks like the only survivor, as his other 2 allies are knocked here over by the boat. FP going to not feel the pain. They're going to make good game feel the pain. That's what the FP does stand for. And they're going to follow it up even. They know that good game is pretty injured right now, so they could just come in and ruin their day.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just gonna move along here and let the blue do its thing.
Oh,
NBC
dalawa pa
Scripts
yung
taking
dalawa
a
ng
bunch
FP
of damage
Medicine.
here, but looks like he has found a nook by the bridge to get some heals off and stay in his buggy and then potentially move along. And here is Yala. They've got a couple members looking over at the other 3 members of MBZ. They're taking a little bit of damage, but so far there isn't much other damage they are going to get there.
Oh, MP ang galing naman
Yala's in a
ni
pretty
FP.
decent spot, of course. They kind of won the King of the Hill
3 kill.
over here on the forest. They've got VT up to, there you can see them right there in those houses there to their north. Otherwise, nobody's really on the northwestern part of the circle, which I think is pretty fascinating. If somebody kind of made a rotation up through there, now it's not ideal because most likely you're going to have to rotate through the field, and that's not great. Moa trying to put some shots in. I believe that is Divine over there and nothing really landing, but why not take the shots? It doesn't hurt you too much, and if you can get some shots in, do a little damage, reduce that utility a bit, you can get things going. Circle right in the field. This one, going to see a lot of proning. It's going to be a lot of snakes in the grass.
This kind of circle is prone to have a lot of proning for sure. As it's a lot of teams left over as well. I mean, we got 16 left. Nobody has been eliminated here. And even though a bunch of people have taken some damage, their allies have been knocked down and killed. We will have to see what they do. You were pointing at the map, a couple of drops here on the east side of that circle. We'll see if anyone makes an aggressive move to pick those up.
Well, it gives you a little bit of cover in those fields over there as well, which cover in the fields, of course, is very scarce. So getting over there early, you can get that extra utility, you can get that level 3 gear, and then maybe, see if you can work your way in from there. Give yourself a slight advantage potentially, because getting dead center in a circle like this is kind of a big gamble. It can pay off very well if nobody sees you, if you can just lay there and do whatever and nobody bothers you. However, if somebody gets sightline on you, for example, there's still a hill on the northwestern part of this circle where you can see down into it, and then you're just going to get bopped and your team's not going to get any points.
Best level 1?
You mentioned the field. Some players have taken to the rocks that do spread out along this woody area here towards the north. We'll see if the circle does go up there. Could be a little bit more fun compared to just proning out there in the wheat or the hay or whatever's growing out there in the fields.
I think it's wheat. it looks like wheat, but I'm no farmer. And I'm a video game. I know, surprise. Like I don't have much of an agricultural background going on here. So Yala, they had a great spot. They are now on the southern tip of this circle. So will they continue to play gatekeeper up here and just try to rack up kills? I don't think that's a terrible idea if you have confidence in your shooting and you can make that work. It's tricky.
Hindi na nakapaglaro ng MOBA ng PUBG. Mapanood na dito.
And there you can see KWT.
Hindi makapag-PUBG.
Took some damage in transition here. They have shared a compound now with MEA, so they're able to get all 4 in there alive. And now we're gonna try to see if they can get some grenades to come through MEA as well.
Ambush.
Grenades up and over there. That one's gonna be just a bit too far.
Ambush.
It's gonna be tough to get a grenade to bounce on top of him, but inside of their outlaw
Akaito.
or is that something else? Jeez.
Acid. Akaito.
That was a little bit strange. I'm not sure exactly how he got knocked out.
Ay, na-eliminate ang Kuwait.
Taking a bunch of damage, and this is going to be the cue for the Mia Assassins to
patay.
get aggressive.
Patay.
They got a couple of knocks. Let's see if they can pick up some kills.
Okay, here we go. They're coming around the corner. Kaito trying to get some damage in. Doesn't get the shot. He switches guns right in time. He's gonna get another member there.
Bakit ba itong ito hindi pinapakita ang MBC? Nasaan na ang MBC? Ang layo. Ang layo pala ng MBC. Nasa labas pa ng zone.
Speaking of which, here we actually do have a couple
Linaw-linaw ng MBC script, oh.
As Abood is out there, or Abood, I guess I should call him, left out. His teammates have left him to die. See if anyone does actually help him out, but yeah, getting those initial knocks is always in PUBG Mobile going to be the thing that sparks you to get aggressive.
Naka-dalawang kills na sa mid sila.
Basically all the teams around them, and they've got a successful path into the northern part of the circle ahead of them potentially if they want to take it. There's nobody really up there. The other good news is that's one of the few parts of the circle that isn't field left. So if you can get in there, set up shop, get some more kills with that, you know, kind of continue on that momentum you've already got going, it's going to be pretty good for them. FP looking down onto MBZ. This is what I was talking about. If you're in the field and there's teams up on the high ground, it gets really dicey really fast. Yeah, you've got some smokes, but those only last so long, and then the teams are just going to keep raining down on you. They know exactly where they are, and if they're good, they're not going to let you get out of it. Scorpion playing the role of his mate, living up to it here, getting in the grass, but look at this. Limbo
shot. Gonna look to knock him down. Has landed a couple of shots, but that's about it. Ain't get a third. And a fourth, but not quite gonna pick up the knock just yet.
Yeah, Scorpion right on the backside of the circle. It's on his heels, so he has to get up and start running with basically no help. Jumping over to V8. They are trying to put some shots in through the smoke onto, I believe that is SNP over there. Not much doing there for Tiger, Divine, and SNT beating each other up. Nassar is knocked over here, but so are Dabi and Sultan. So Nassar opting to potentially go for the reses, but Ghost is putting some work into Yala with that DP. The vehicle blows up. A couple members of Yala are going down. That could be a really good grenade if that is in fact a frag. Yes, it is. Many members of Nala getting taken out here.
He's just 1-on-4 right now, and he's doing it all alone. A bunch of smokes go down, but it looks like only Marley will be left available and staying alive, but that is a massive play here on the opposite side.
Ghost absolutely doing some work between the DP and the frag grenades. Excellent job by him, the solo man, putting the nails into Yala there. Escobar as well, still good to go for Ghost. So they're the surviving 2 members here for those teams, and they're going to start healing up. There's only one first aid kit left for Ghost there, and he is already very weak. And Marley, the surviving member of Yala, is trying to see if he can get some revenge here on the Nemesis. Grenades coming up and over, but that's going to be too far. Marley's a little closer than that. Nemesis boys, so Escobar and Ghost crawling. This is all you can do in these fields. This is what makes it so hard. There's not much else going on. Ooh, some shots are going to find Ghost. There's actually the grenade from Marley.
Riley doing a good job here. He knows he's the only one left available for his team. He picks up the kill and says, well, we're not in a great spot, but another kill is going to go a long way for our score overall. As we mentioned, the kill is very important in this mode.
Yep, so Circle's just going to center up now. There is nothing really but field left in this one. So you just got to try to make your way in and try to defend it as best you can as you are prone. Now you can look up and over a bit. Escobar is going to try to get, all he's got is 4 bandages left. That's not going to get you full. And indeed, he does get taken down there over to 6N, who's got a shack. And they are going to be waiting for MEA to make their push. MEA knows full well that 6N is over here. It's going to try to put some suppressive fire down into them. VT, still 4 members strong here for Vendetta, so they've got themselves potentially a nice little setup if they can get their teamwork going, pick up some kills.
Looks like Trump and Master from 46 getting it started here up against FP with that Car 98. And Divine Vendetta is going to be knocked out as, whoa, a mad dash into the middle with the car here.
Ooh, Crom getting taken down from VT. He is knocked right now behind that hay bale. See if they can get the res going. Scorpion, very weak over there for MBZ, so there is not much real estate left in the circle. A bunch of teams on the outside of this gonna try to make their way in. Here we go. Big push here by MEE right onto SNT. 2 knocked already. Garrett is the only one left inside of the broken shack trying to hold this off. It's going to force MEA down as other teams are starting to shoot in here, trying to push in his guns. Can he get the knock? No, it is going to be him who gets knocked. Great defense there by Zagarrett over to FP. They are going to get taken down, but Asayat is going to come in here and finish them off.
Sayed, a massive play to make it work there towards the end. FP are going to be eliminated, and now the top is off. Everybody's going wild here as the circle has closed in. SNT also getting eliminated. As players, you'll notice the teams are really trying to set up barricades with their vehicles because that's really all that's there in the field.
Yeah, you're just trying to make your own cover at this point because that's all you've got. Throw some smokes, then put some vehicles around it to give yourself room to breathe potentially. And we are getting over. Right in the center here is VT Grave, and it looks like Crom still up and running for them. He's going to need a little bit of health because he's going to be revived, and they're just going to use that smoke for now. SNP, they are over on the south side of this circle trying to just crawl their way through, see if they can pick up some kills along the way. Everybody just trying to stay low at this point, and a crate going to drop right in front of SNP, so that might give them a little room to work with. You can see there's a little bit of a hill there as well that they can crawl behind.
Some shots through the smoke for VT. I really love their position here in between all the teams. Let's see if they can lock it down as SMP trying to make a move, but they're getting knocked down here by VT.
Yeah, Crom is just trying to see if he can get a little bit lucky through the grass here. He has a decent idea, but no, he's going to get caught by a grenade from Hanky there. A very nice grenade to relieve the pressure off of SNP, and that is going to be VT going down here. Only 5 teams remain.
We talked about it before. You would love to get into that top 3, and SMP with that play have maybe secured a spot here. Let's see, as I like this little shit
outside of the new circle, so MEA is going to have to move outside of it. A good grenade in there is going to finish them both off. It just catches Guns there, doesn't get Syed, so he might be able to get the res, but now other teams are pushing in. Here is Arab Madness coming through now. Syed has to defend this. He's going to get one. Can he get B52 as well? B52 pros. He is going to find him, and Syed with the huge outplay.
This guy just carrying his team by himself. Unbelievable play. But you do have to wonder, they took a lot of casualties in that play. Can they stay alive? There's only 3 teams left. As Syed all alone, gonna look to do some caterpillar walking through the grass.
SNP has 4 members going. 46 has 2, and it's just Syed left there for MEA. So looking really nice here for SNP. Moving up, using some of that cover they have available. A little bit of those hills, some smokes coming down. Potentially could move over to that crate as well. And there's Syed on their left. Not too sure if they know exactly where Syed is. I think they have a pretty good idea of where 46 is. Trump and the other member of that team are over there. And you can see Syed trying to just use that grass as best he can. Oh! That is nice work by Syed here. He is absolutely a one-man wrecking crew. Look at the 6 kills already for him.
Guy has just done so much. Picks up another there, or maybe just finishing him off with that TP. The guy is out of control and might just win it for his team.
Yeah, MEA already 12 kills for them. That is massive, massive, massive. This is so good for them. Okay, Now we have Syed still crawling through. He might be able to want to get to that crate first and take advantage of that cover as the circle still kind of using some of that crate inside of it, I believe. And this is a really nice job by Syed, doing a great job, staying sneaky, finding the right moments to get those kills. 46 Master thinking about moving that vehicle up, but it is very much on fire. I don't think that's a great idea to even try to move that vehicle, because one bullet into it is going to blow it up. Citizen tries to find him, but once again, Syed is outplaying everyone in this lobby.
Guy has 7 kills. He really is doing it all by himself and gets that knock. I liked the split that SMP had, but gets another kill here on the backside. And finally, Thanos is going to snap his fingers and say, that is enough of that, and will end the life of Syed. But man, what a hero for this movie.
Incredible play by him, gets them a 3rd place finish, so a ton of points coming through there. 46 has found the backside of this hill, and they're going to push up. One member of SMP down. This could be the winning moment here. Master is able to finish off Thanos there, so the snap doesn't work as well as he wanted. Wasn't able to get Master. 2 members up for 46, so Syed playing the spoiler for SNP potentially, or can Klopp clutch this out in a 2v1? They are potentially going to have to come up and over this hill, but a good grenade from Master could end this one. Looking to see if he was behind that crate. Realizes that he's probably not. Ooh, no, that was a mistake. He cooked the grenade too long, blew himself up. That could lose them the match. We'll see if they can recover from this. Klopp trying to get it through. Trump is just crawling on the ground, seeing if he can get to Master in time, and he is going to go for the revive.
You know, after that grenade, I don't know if they want to try another one, but that's really the only way that they're going to be able to shut down Clabs here, as he's going for it right now.
Oh no, it's a 2v1. He is going to get taken down, and it is going to be 46 loot that is going to take game number 1.
Wow, winner, chicken dinner to 46 loot. Love the patience. There was so much going on with Syed trying to go 1v3 or even 1v4 on the opposite side, but they just kept their cool, waited for the right moment, and baited him into charging forward and took the win.
I mean, the real story of that round is Syed. 8 kills for his team, gets the 3rd place finish. A huge round for him and MEA. That was a masterful performance in the grass there. Good job by him being patient, staying low, finding the right times to get his kills, and defending very well in that shack.
The guy obviously has skill, and we talked about it before. We want to see players distinguish themselves from the pack, and that's a great way to get us started there. Syed, he's going to be on our lips the entire night, no doubt.
All right, well, that is game number 1 in the books. And that one was pretty fun. You don't always like the field circles, but yeah.
I don't know what we can say, honestly, about Syed there. Like, he was 1v3, took down 2 players and almost pulled off the last one in a 1v3. And 46 loot, we're just sitting there like, all right, we're going to chill. Syed, you do all the work for us. You know, we're not going to bother trying to contest it all in early on. But right here off the bat, 46 loot, they put themselves in a really weird position, I want to say, up against Nemesis, but it was Fragger there you saw. We talked about him. You know, he's lived up to his name. We saw how cocky he was, seen him on camera early on, but he was the one getting overzealous. He was the one getting caught out first that put his team in such a bad position that they eventually did lose out on.
I don't feel like there's a real need to go all the way to the lip of that hill in front of the lighthouse. But 46 loot, I like the move by them there. They recognize the 4v2 advantage, take advantage of it, and they end up with the chicken dinner after everything's said and done.
Shout out to Ghost here, by the way, from SMP, I believe. He was able to just throw in unbelievable, or no, it's Nemesis, actually, Ghost. He was able to pick up a ton of kills there for his squad, essentially alone with the grenades. We had a bit of head bashing here as these 2 teams, the Assassins and S&T, did go head-to-head. And we all know how this one ends. Syed coming on in, taking them all out, and he wasn't done yet.
He was 1v2 over there, by the way. His teammate dropped, he was the last one alive. He pulls off the 1v2 by getting the initial 1v1 using their smoke to his advantage, then pushing into the smoke to take down the last players he saw there. Honestly, enemy Assassins, either they didn't win the chicken dinner, this team is the team you're going to have to look out for. I bet they placed at least, or no, they should have placed first overall in points from that one match alone, and that was a phenomenal way to start things off. This was a team, as we were kind of questioning, what teams would come out the gate swinging, right? What teams would just come out looking for fights? What teams would be passive? Would they sit back and wait? they were looking for fights. They were hunting. They took down 3 teams alone. I think there was a 4th in there as well. But you can see our round ranking from our first match. Enemy Assassins only getting 10 points in placements, but 13 kills.
Ha?
Yeah, SNP, we didn't get to see a lot of them on the screen, but 11 kills for them. We're going to put them a couple points of that impressive Assassins round. So that second place, those 14 points are huge there for them. 46 loot, I want to talk about them a little bit. Their early aggression, I think, paid off, and I think what you're talking about, Jason, is really important here. We're seeing this already in this lobby. It pays to be aggressive, it pays to team fight well, and that's how 46 loot, in part, got their win.
Yeah, we're just going to forget about the overcooked grenade where he ended up eliminating himself.
It didn't happen.
I already forget what happened there, but
they should have lost that fight.
Baiting and getting them to win, but definitely a big mistake on this stage. Maybe some nerves for these players.
They should have lost that fight, though, I want to say. Like, there was no way that they should have been able to get that pickup. You're in a 1v1. If you don't attack now, you're going to put yourself into a 1-on-2, and you're going to lose that fight generally any day of the week, unless you're Syed, and then you're going to win the 1v2, right? But that was a little bit of a mess up. Again, nerves, like, that's something we have to take into account, right? The first big event here in Saudi Arabia, probably the first time, I want to say almost all of these players are playing here on a big stage. This is their chance where they show themselves, but the nerves are getting there. We saw some people make a little bit of mistakes. Again, not to be too harsh on Fragger. But I would assume as time goes on, though, that should alleviate some pressure. They should get used to the situation a little bit more, the whole setup. But what worries me now, or doesn't worries me, if you're one of these teams that made like top 3, I almost want to say you're guaranteed through into day 2, right? Or not to day 2, every team makes it to day 2, but into day 3, into the finals. Because you only need to place top 8. As long as you just play consistent now, and you don't get knocked out in last place, that should be your ticket through to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you just need one big round, and that's enough to get you through, especially in a short format like this with 4 games. So if you're one of these teams at the bottom, it may already be time to put the pedal to the metal here, start trying to pick up kills. Divine, they might need to do that. They were one of the teams, again, that the Arabic casters were talking up to me. That one didn't really go their way so much, so looking to see if they can turn it around here and find some more success as we move over to Vikendi now.
Yeah, we are not going to have a break, guys. We are going to just slip directly into the next game after introducing some of the teams that we do have here.
That's a key point, though. The fact there is no break, right? So after game 1, you don't get to sit there and talk to your teammates and be like, all right, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? What can we possibly change up going into our second game? You don't have that opportunity now. So you have to kind of go into this one, hopefully for your sake, brush off what happened in your mind. But if you're one of those teams, if you're Enemy Assassins and you did that well in the last game, you come into this next game on fire, you should be able to steamroll your way through, ideally.
Just keep going. Just keep doing what works. That's the whole idea. Keep the momentum going, keep that confidence up, see if you can get it going. UI here on your screen. They are another Saudi Arabia team looking to see if they can get something going for themselves as well. It was a really fun round. I mean, we could talk so much about some of these top teams. We're going to be looking at the bottom teams coming in here to Vikendi because, like we've been saying, there's only 4 rounds. Time to get it going and get aggressive. I think that's really the name of this lobby. We've already seen it pay off.
Yeah, and you can see some dejected looks there from UI Honor. They know just as well as we do that you really only get 4 chances here. SNT also a little bit unhappy, I believe. This was the team that was knocked out there by Enemy Assassins in the little shack. They had a great setup, and as you were mentioning, Jason, 2-on-1 on Zayed, but not pulling out the clutch kill there.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys could have netted themselves so many more points, so that's going to be eating at the back of their mind for sure.
I think it was the smoke they threw down that actually kind of like worked against them. If they just pushed in without a smoke, they would have had like an easy sideline on the side, and then hopefully wouldn't be able to pick up those 2. But they're currently in 13th place at the moment with 3 points. They definitely need to step up here. I mean, obviously, it's only 1 game, and with the way the points do work out, there's a lot of teams that only get 1 point just for participating. So there's no chance to come back. But Vikendi, you talk about, for being aggressive here. Vikendi is definitely one of those slower maps. I've seen many a times we've had, Zone 6, Zone 7 come up, and there was like 12 to 10 teams left, and then it breaks out. Then all hell breaks loose on the icy map of Vikendi.
Yeah, there's a lot of compounds to work with on Vikendi. Like, compound per square inch, it's the highest map in PUBG Mobile. So you really need to get some of those compounds early, defend them very well. On the outside of it, if you're a team that isn't able to get one of those, you've got to break those compounds using Molotovs, using frags, those kind of things. Throwing smokes in front of the team so you can cover the angle that you want to come in from. Things like this are necessary to break into these compounds, and teams that can do that will typically find success on Vikendi.
Yeah, and just harkening back to the first matchup that we did have, if you guys remember, I think it was the third circle where everybody was just making a bum rush to north of the bridge, north of the military base, and these teams, you know, if they find the circle, they are not going to hold back. They are going to charge into those compounds. They don't really seem to give a hoot. They're not playing it carefully here, but definitely some teams have played it a bit better than some of our lower teams so far.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to kick off our second match, I thought. No, we're coming back to us. We're not kicking off the second match just yet. Hold your horses. One thing I did want to mention, luckily, as we do have some more time, was looking at the PMCO Global Finals and looking at the South Asia Region Finals we had before that. There was a lot of question of whether teams would get super aggressive and hold center circle or play the outskirts. And I think we saw there the teams that did well like to play the outside. ME Assassins, I was zone 2 or zone 3. They were kind of hunting on the outer rim, trying to gatekeep some teams, whereas we saw 7 or 8 teams immediately rushing straight towards the center. Now early on in the second zone, it's not your ideal play to do since there's still so much area to work with. But I think we're seeing the teams are kind of playing on a little bit of a different level. I think we're seeing maybe a little bit of a difference in skill at the moment, but then again, it's only one game. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh.
Well, it's pretty fascinating that MEA, like you were saying about, decided to play edge there up on the northern side of things. 46 Loot, who ended up winning, were aggressive and went for that lighthouse, but then changed their minds. Once that circle shifted, then they're like, nah, we're going north. There aren't going to be many teams up there. They recognized the situation and took advantage of it, like you were saying. Get to that edge, start picking up kills, and get yourself into that final game situation.
Yeah, I mean, the best teams in PUBG are the ones that are going to be adaptive, right? They need to know which different situation they're getting themselves into. If they can hear more cars than normal moving in towards the center, maybe that's a little showing for them to be like, okay, we need to back off and play it a little bit safer. But as you guys were mentioning, I think a lot of the teams were kind of just going head first, with the blinders on. And they're like, no, we have to take the center. It is ours, but it's not always the best strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some teams even transitioning for free. I can't remember the team off the top of my head. I think it was the team that ended up taking the boat, if I'm not mistaken.
GG.
Was it Team GG? Okay, good game. They went straight by a compound, and there was a full team in there. I want to say it was UI, and UI didn't fire off a single shot towards them. They just let them go by, and the last straggler going through had no HP as well. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a little bit of jitters, a little bit of nerves coming onto the stage.
It's hard, and we saw that at the very end with Krob there at the end against 46, and it was Trump and him. Now one member of 46 is down. You've got a one-on-one situation. Essentially, got to go.
Yeah.
Exactly. What I find funny about that is when I was looking over 46's roster and their notes, they said that Trump is kind of their wild card. He's the one that's prone to make mistakes. But he's the one who ended up getting them the chicken dinner there. So that's kind of a neat little thing to have in his cap. Maybe sometimes. I know I'm this way, when I'm playing games with my friends, if they kind of say, oh man, you suck, you're playing terrible, that gets me angry.
Sounds like great friends.
And I have many good friends. Many good friends. I have the best friends. And so when that happens to me...
these friends that you're talking about? Are they you get them at the store, Costco or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
Very cheap, very cheap.
Costco
five
friends.
for dollar.
Dollar store friends.
Yeah.
So no, but when they, sometimes I get angry and that makes me better. If that makes sense. If somebody calls me out, I get better personally. If somebody says that to me, then I kind of get fired up. And maybe that's what happened with Trump a bit. He's like, oh, they called me out, I'm going to get better.
I wouldn't be surprised, It'll be interesting as the day goes along. There are some teams later on even that are calling out other teams Drop Pachinki, we're going head-to-head. So a lot of fun rivalries still also gone on here at the PMSC World Cup.
Yeah, and actually looking ahead to what matches come up later on, we still have the international team, the national team coming through with Group B, and those teams have so much experience against each other now, obviously playing the PMCO Global Finals. I'm worried for some of these teams here at Amina. If they want to be able to compete against the likes of those teams, and not to discourage the region at all, we're going to need to see teams adapt, not only from from day 1 and 2 to day 3, but from match to match. And I think that's what we need to see here going to Vikendi. Obviously, it's going to be a very different map for them to play on. Comfort level is going to be a little bit despairing between a lot of the teams. But we need to see the ones adapt if you want to be able to get top 8. And if you want to be able to take home that trophy, you have to be able to play better in general, and you have to be able to like fix things on the fly.
And you're going to have to adapt to the different maps. In this situation, we're moving from Erangel, which is a much more open map, and especially in a circle like that we had at the end, where it's just basically flat field. For the most part of McKenny, there really isn't much terrain like that on the map. It's a lot of hills, a lot of trees, a lot of rocks, a lot of mountains, and a lot of compounds. So you have to play a very different style, so you're going to have to adapt.
Absolutely. And yeah, go ahead.
If I were to ask you guys, who is the team you think could take you on McKenny? Who's the team you're pitted to really stand out and be able to defend the MENA region when it comes to the cross-play into our third and final day?
I feel like more so than any team, the amount of poise showed by the members of ME Assassins as well as SMP. Some obvious choices, obviously, because they had a great game in the first map here, but it's not really about the results. It's more about the way that they played the game and how they were able to respond to each different situation and execute when they were put in not the best situations. So my money would be on those two teams.
It definitely reminded me a lot of Bigatron, actually, who won the PMCO Global Finals. So it looks like we're going to head into our second match. It's going to be McKendy. It's going to get nice and chilly in here in Valdez. I know you're looking forward to that. So why don't you guys take it away?
All right, our plane is going to start out over Trevno, make its way down over the winery, but this is McKendy, so smaller map to work with, a lot less surface area, and that team that they showed there in the plane, 46, was going to be the team that I was going to say, not just because they won, but because they were able to breach a compound relatively successfully, and they had the guts to do it. So I thought maybe this team could be the one on McKenny to have some success, but you never know. You got to play the games, and we are getting out of the plane. A lot of teams already out and making their way to their desired drop locations. Plenty of spots to work with on McKenny. Don't have to necessarily just drop into one of the big cities. You know, some of the smaller loot locations are pretty acceptable as well.
Absolutely. You do want to spread out. You don't have to go very aggressive early on. Even Jason was mentioning that this is a map where we could go into phase 5, 6, and still have all 16 teams just slowly moving their way into the circle. So wouldn't be surprised if we do kind of take a back seat here to start off McKendy.
Yeah, this one could be pretty slow, and so therefore a lot of the early game is going to be focused on the rotations, watching which teams are going to play edge, like Jason was talking about as well. Which teams are going to try to play center circle. It seems like maybe this is a center circle lobby, but already we have a little bit of contention here between Divine and SNT. You can see Majid, he's got a gun, and so does Dobby, trying to get that Tommy. Do a little damage there, but no helmet for him, so he's got to be careful because he take a headshot from just about any gun, and it's bad news if you don't have a helmet. We will see where this first circle will show itself. Let's go.
Big fan of Tommy. Whoa, what is going on? This is way down in the bottom left. I think that's about as far as it can even go there. So every team that dropped early out of the plane, they are going to be hustling to get down to the south side of this map.
Well, I said that I liked 46 because they could breach compounds. They might not even need to because they're one of the few teams that are inside of this circle. GG as well. FP over there, Yala is making their way into this circle. They've got some vehicles set up for themselves, but most of the teams are quite a bit outside of this circle. So going to have to find their way, and a couple teams that might have easy rotations into this. Vendetta over in Hot Springs has a pretty easy rotation because there's nobody in the southeast part of the circle yet. So if they get their loot and get hustling over there, they can find a vehicle. It should be pretty safe for them.
We're taking a look here at Kuwait, and this was, I think, the first team to get knocked out in our Erangel map. These guys, we talked about it before, you can't have two matches where you only get 1 point. You're essentially just knocking yourself out unless you can have a masterful performance on the following day. So I like the focus there by production saying, hey, this team, they have so much on the line. Let's take a closer look into seeing what they can do. Currently playing around Baroka. We'll see. You know, they're ahead of a lot of the other teams that are behind them, so not a bad start for them considering that insane circle.
I like the aggressive move early by UI to get over to the coast. A lot of teams are going to value these coastal positions because you know you're not going to have anybody at your back. You can work the edge of the circles well from there. So getting over to the coast early is a pretty good start. Plus, there's usually quite a bit of loot on the coast of Vikendi. There's quite a few spots, especially on the southwestern part of the map. And you can see SNT has now found another team. It's Nemesis this time. This is a big moment here for Nemesis. A lot of talk coming from them coming into this tournament. See if they can back it up, except Dobby, I think wisely here, is going to back off. He doesn't have a helmet yet again, so any headshot from just about any gun could spell disaster for him.
You got to be careful up there. Really not much cover on the hill. A couple of very shaky big trees that need to gain some weight, but that's about it, right? So they are going to turn tail and make their way down to the circle. As yeah, not much time to lose. We're definitely going to see a lot of teams coming into the first circle with not that ideal amount of gear and guns that they would like to have. So curious to see how players can adapt and make it work even from a disadvantageous position.
So I think it's funny, we talked about how we might have a bit of downtime in the early game of this one. We might actually not, because this is such a hard shifted circle. It is so severe. Only about half of the circle is land. The rest is water. So there isn't as much room to work with. So we might find ourselves getting some early battles in transition, like we can see here with Yala and 46. 46 had this nice compound all to themselves. Now Yala moved in here as well. UI's just going to bypass them, actually, but we'll see if 46 can defend that location successfully. We'll see if those two teams decide to engage each other, and yes, indeed, it's going to be Zero finding Trump. So the hero from round number 1 is not the hero here, because Hero gets him.
The hero takes out Trump, and, well, we'll have to wait and see what Master and the rest of this squad can do. But I talked about it before. You get that one knock, you got to go in. Master with the Uzi.
No, it's
trying to
empty.
get it to be even right now. Able to fill that up with 35 bullets once again, but not the best situation here for 46 loot.
Yeah, you can see those nerves maybe playing into things a little bit. Again, he jumped when he had no bullets in his gun. Could have taken some damage, and if somebody clips his head there, that could be instant knock onto him potentially. And you can see Trump is about halfway down onto his knock. So Master is going to be the one to try to push through, see if he can get the res. Kevin is, I don't think, quite close enough to pounce on this quite yet. Yeah, he's a building over, so he's not really going to be able to get to Trump right away, but Master's just going to bypass him for now. Trump might just end up bleeding out unless he feels comfortable that the other members of 46 can cover this revive.
You'll notice that it is going to be an extremely safe revive here from Master. He waits, he thinks, hey, maybe they're going to get aggressive, and down to the last bit of it. He does have that micro Uzi, so in those close quarters, I don't blame him. He can light up a couple of guys as long as the timing is right. So I like the line of thinking that he did have, and Trump is now back up in time, and we will once again go into this 4-on-4 in the compound.
It's good patience here by 46. They've got Naya up on the compound to the northeast. That has a huge lane down in here, so he will be able to see any member of Yala that tries to cross into that building. Kevin is going to get spotted if he would have tried to push through there. So a really nice setup by 46, able to get their revive and Trump back up to full health.
So just taking it easy here. No team is going to make a big move, but we did actually have a couple of knocks here already as members of Nemesis are being knocked down. Escobar will be the first casualty of the game.
Yeah, Salman knocked as well. 6 in, pushing in hard here. Gonna pick up 2 kills for themselves early on. 3, in fact, excuse me. They have 3 now. Fragger is the only member to survive from Nemesis.
Yep.
Just takes a little bit of falling damage there. Just a little bit of a fracture in the old ankles. He'll be all right. He is going to just get out of dodge, and he's pretty far away from 6N already. Now, they might have an idea of where he had gone, but for now, they are just moving through. And yeah, only 5 points right now, and 1 player left for Nemesis.
And that's some of the strategy you have to take into account. Pretty much every other team, actually every single other team, has all 4 members alive. You are never going to win a 1v4, maybe a 1-on-2 if you can split them up, but there's no reason to get aggressive if you are that last member of Nemesis. So he's going to be playing the hiding game. We'll see how long he can play that hide and seek.
All right, KWT moving into Divine's compound. Majid trying to hold the front line with the Vector. We've got Boss coming up with an SMG of his own. Majid is just going to back up off the stairs. Divine does not like their setup, so they are going to try to buy some time. See if they can get the flank. onto KWT here.
Yung last game
Wow,
na yan.
a bit of damage himself. Warrior is holding down the corner. He's gonna see
Hindi
Mao.
kayo nanonood
Probably
ng
gonna get the knock. Yes, indeed, he
PMSC?
does. Warrior waiting around here. He is going to try to duke it out here. Divine is gonna find him though,
game
but
na.
right away. It's
Wag
gonna be
sanok.
Dom getting
Sige,
knocked by
sanok na lang.
Alpha.
Sige, sige.
Poor Majid, he was the only one sticking back, and unfortunately, all of his members on the team did go down. Maybe he has one ally up in that shack with him. Looks like he
Buisit
does.
na to, hindi
Nasser
pinapakita ang
going
MBC.
to keep him company, but a
Yun ang
nice
yun
little
ang
aggressive move
pinapakita.
by Kuwait. You talked about just opening it up. Going
Alas
into
10 na
these
ba?
compounds.
Nabisi kasi ako sa
Better
panonood
team
ng
at doing that.
ng PMSC.
And I think you made a great point early on, Valdez.
Hindi na
That
pa ako
KWT was a team that needed
start
points. They didn't get
ng
any
laro
kills, and only that one placement point
live
in the
nanonood
first
na
round.
ako.
Here, they've already found themselves 2 kills, trying to see if Boss can find it, the angle through the corner onto Nasser. Or potentially
Yung
another
kasing
member
leader
of
namin
Divine
sa ano,
backing off once again as the
dito.
grenades are going to start flying in, the Molotovs
Leader namin
as
dito
well.
sa clan
Outside of
namin.
those buildings, those Molotovs
Kasali sa
spread
PMSC.
very thick, so it is hard to avoid them. That's what makes Molotov so great on Vikendi. You can really force teams into bad positions just like that. As Nasser
Ano, number 4? Diyan siya nagwo-work sa Dubai.
Switching over to that vector, but he is going to be found out. And that is Divine dusted.
Kuwait just making quick work there of Divine Vendetta.
Pinay siya.
And we saw that a couple of the players were confused about where the enemies were and kind of getting caught off by awkward angles there. Just as much as attacking compounds is important, defending them is as well.
Uy!
And that was not the
Saan kayo
best
pumalo?
showing there
Sorry, hindi
for
ko
our
alam.
Divine Vendetta team. They'll have to bring it back for tomorrow when they do play their 3rd and 4th
Yun na lang tayo
matches.
sa Lakawi.
Fascinating rotation here by MEA, sending Bam out there on his own. He is in a boat. That's a little risky. Those boats are pretty flimsy and pretty easy to shoot people out.
Ano?
They don't go super fast.
Ano?
But he looks to
Myanmar?
cover that coast because we talked about this early.
Oh.
Teams really like the coast in these
Uy, bakit ka nagkikipaglaro sa mahirap
You could
kausap?
look at
Hindi
the map,
makipaglaro
you
ko
can see
sa
there's a
kapwa
bunch
mo.
of teams down on
Ano?
the coast. He's trying to make sure that they can find a safe
Nako po!
circle for
Tang-inang
themselves. But
yan.
look at this.
Pag babae talaga ang
Who is this?
usapan.
It's Christmas time.
Magbago-bago na to
SNP
ko!
and MEA might find each other once
Nahin.
again.
Basta
SMP
chicks, ang
taking
bilis
a good
eh.
positioning here. They're right on top of the hill.
Tayo,
Not
ang
much of a
mabilis
hill,
sa
more of a
chikas eh.
here. Very good spot
Pag-
in towards the middle of the circle.
Pag-
They're not going to be looking to move anytime soon.
Nagrereklamo
Just look
kang
to
hindi mo
check their
maintindihan
enemies
pero
and see what they
naintindihan mo
can
wala
see.
siyang kalaro.
And here we go, a couple of sprays coming out already from Citizen.
Talaga to si
Citizen
Toko
catches a
eh.
couple bullets with that
Gahanap ka lang ng
M16, but
majojowa eh.
not much else going to be doing for him in that shack. Now MEA is
Gahanap ka
pretty
lang ng
aware of the
majojowa eh.
assassins
Dadahilan mo pa yung wala
moving
siyang
forward
mga
with a
kalaro.
2-2 split of their own. So they're they've got SNP surrounded a little bit, but
Kanina
these
kapag
members
naglalaro.
over here, Bam and his teammate are a little exposed
Oo,
on the
online
side
ko
of
lang
this
eh.
hill. So they've got to be careful. That's why they're getting down. They're proning because they made some noise, and
Sino
some other
rin-
teams might try to take advantage of that.
Ha?
Taking a page out of Syed's book, perhaps, and saying,
Ang
hey,
alin?
we can also prone through the grass on this map. It is
Alauna
available.
ng
Let's take a look here
hapon?
at the second circle. As it will come in, just
mahaba-haba pa
basic
itutulog
wall,
mo.
doesn't move all too much, just slowly there in the middle,
Eh?
so every team's going to be in a pretty good position.
You know,
Mahaba
that's
pa
still quite a
itutulog mo.
bit of
Alauna
water
pa naman
in
palang
this
pasok
circle,
mo.
and south of Dino Park, there isn't a ton of stuff to work with.
Oh,
in there,
exam.
so a lot of these teams
Ang
on the
inaaral mo yung
northern
PUBG,
side might
hindi
have
yung
a bit more west, that part of the
exam
map.
mo.
Little more,
Mag-aaral ka,
little
ano?
more
Anong
congested
oras pag
with
nandiyan na?
terrain
Yun,
and
M4,
compounds
aka na
that
lang
you can
yun.
utilize, and MEA still holding this 2-2 split, trying to box in
Saan yun?
SMP here, but right now there isn't going to be a lot of necessity to fight unless you feel confident that you can get a pick somewhere. You
last
can see
minute
Thanos
na,
is
no?
on his own for SMP. Maybe if you
Saan
recognize
yun,
that as
ano?
MEA, you might go for that. Otherwise,
Yung
for
M4.
now, it might be a good time to just kind of wait it out.
Ayun, nasa taas na agad to si...
Yeah, do not get
Ay, umiwalay
confused,
ba to
guys.
si
We have
Yurika?
SMP and we also have SNT.
Umiwalay pala to si Yuriko eh. Yuriko
A
pala.
couple of teams with similar names here. We're taking a look at SNT right now.
Ang ano ko na yan kanina binitawan ko. Ang layo mo, Brad. Dito mo na ako.
This circle, so very
Ayan,
much
nandyan sa may
playing the
warehouse.
outskirts of that one. And all coming up here for, I didn't actually catch.
That was easy.
Putang ina, talaga hindi pinapakita MBC itong nag-host na ito. Nakakaiyamot.
Yala Azi. Yeah, there you go.
He actually went all the way out for that. I like it. Get that level 3 gear. Look at him. He is 3'd out. He is a happy
Bakit na
camper.
pala kayo?
Well, he's not camping yet.
Yeah,
He's in the water.
no. Did get that
Opo.
gun, he's going to be feeling pretty good about that one.
Busy sa panunood ng PMSC.
Take risks like that.
Saglit lang, tumawag si Ama.
Oh, nanonood yung mga kaklan ko, tsaka yung ibang nasa nanonood sila sa YouTube, sa Facebook. Yung iba, busy sila. Wala masyadong naglalaro ngayon, yung iba tulog na. Ha? Ano, meron lahok-lahok. Kasi yung leader namin, ang kasamahan niya, yung Arabic ang salita. Kasi nga sa Dubai siya nagtatrabaho. Napasama siya dun sa nagsasasali sila sa mga ganyang laban. Kagulo nga sa GC. Sana naman yun.
He's got 23 bandages, so we already know what his game plan is going to be. Not a lot of fragging, mostly a lot
Mahirap
of
manood sa
doctor work
Facebook,
here as
Arabic.
he tries to stay alive by himself.
Is it doctor work?
Buti na lang nakaano ko sa YouTube.
Yeah, is that
Ganda-ganda pa.
Doctors do surgeries on themselves all the time.
Oh
Right?
yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Ang tinik ng ang tinik ng
I wasn't sure if that was like actually what it
Port-
is.
You don't have to
I
be a
suppose,
doctor,
I
you
suppose not, yeah, but I suppose it's still doctor.
True.
nalo sila first
You
game.
don't really need to be a doctor to put on a bandage.
First round
that's
pa lang.
for sure.
Oh,
Well, that's a
ganun
good
nga.
point.
First
That's a
game,
really good.
first
They are
round.
just first aid kits. There isn't anything too fancy
Yeah.
with those. All right, well, UI, they trying to find something else they
Wala, nawala ang
like. They're in the
internet.
southeastern part of the circle, and they're just scouting a bit there, looking to see what's ahead of them and getting ready to make their move, getting the information and planning it out depending on where the circle goes. If the circle stays south, then we're going to do X. If the circle goes north, we're going to do Y. If it goes over to Dino Park, we're going to die. So, what? No, I'm just kidding. Maybe not, but that's a difficult rotation for them. It does that, but not much different here. This is basically about the same. They sent the other two ahead here. You can see them. Oh no, they might run into. I don't know if they saw Vendetta here. A little bit of damage taken as they go by, but nothing significant. So they're going to be able to leapfrog ahead. And there is another team up here, 46, if they keep pushing forward. But I don't know if they will or not. We'll see.
Yeah, all you can do is try to rotate outside of there. I was taking a look once again at Nemesis, but take a look here at Master. Had eyes on UI, and UI Honor is going to get away scot-free as a lot of different pushes into that circle are taking place.
Really aggressive rotation is going to pay off for those two members of UI. Getting the other two members through there. And you can see that it's not easy, and that's why Khalid is swimming, because they saw a bunch of teams in the way. Now these teams know that UI is going to want to move through. Got another fight breaking out, 6N versus MBC. Script waiting at the door with an Uzi, but it's going to... Oh, there is Hunter going to be flushed out. That is going to be 6N picking up one kill. Ooh, Scorpion gets found by a nice grenade from Lord. So we're trading things up here, but MBZ all stuck inside of this building. 6N is on the hunt. They want to push in here, take the aggressive stance, and try to finish off MBZ. I like the idea. Nope. Coming up the stairs, he looks around. He hasn't seen anybody yet. There is one person waiting for him there. He takes a bunch of damage and is going to get the finish on the script.
Not really much to help him out there. 4-on-2 once again. Those two open frags are going to make it easy work. And the MBZ Falcons here from the UAE are going to be our 15th team to be knocked out. As there hasn't been too much action, but when it does happen, the teams, they pounce very fast, picking up those opening knocks. Speaking of which, happening once again.
It's KWT. They're coming through. They're going to have to push another compound, and this is what I was talking about. If you're going to find success on Vikendi, you have to be good at pushing compounds. Use that utility you have available to you, those grenades, to success. 6N is able to keep all four alive in that battle. So here come, you can see the Molotov. One is outside there, so that's not going to do too much in terms of making 6N back off, and you can see Outlaw. He is trying to find an angle for this grenade himself, but he takes some damage from somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where that came from. That's going to back him off, so he isn't able to get that grenade into that top story window like he wanted to try to force 6N into a worse position.
Yeah, Outlaw has had a couple of plays where you're just scratching your head and wondering exactly what's going on. That time around, did walk over a Molotov, so we'll be pushed out of the compound for now. As Kamikaze going in very aggressive by himself is going to get knocked down by Lord.
Yeah, good job by Lord staying on that roof, covering the flank. That's exactly what he needed to do. Make sure their backside is clear. He has a ton of vision from up there. He can absolutely watch those angles. Now, they got to be careful, though. There are so many of them in that tight space there. One grenade could spell their doom. There it is, up and in. Will it catch anybody? Nope. That's just a smoke, actually. That is not a frag or a Molotov. Yeah. It is a smoke, so that's going to block some angles. This could be an interesting play here by KWT.
Oh, look at this circle actually going way down southeast and keeping a large portion of the water inside of this circle. So kind of wonky ones here on our first McKendy map in terms of circles so far. I also noticed that UI had one player that was still out in the water, and the other three players were just by themselves without the one player, pushing very far into the inner circle. So
he's still swimming.
Yeah,
he's still swimming.
Yeah,
that is the Michael Phelps of this lobby. He is out there getting those laps in. Yala is in that battle with GG. Finally, this one is going to be forced to break out here because GG is outside of the circle. They are going to have to push through. That is a nice situation for V8, taking advantage of the shots they're hearing over there. They might try to get in on this fight. No. They are just going to bypass this. I think that's probably your wiser decision here. There's only two of you. See if you can get a little more center circle play for position at this point because Yala and GG are going to be beating up each other here potentially in just a second.
And SNT as well, driving on in. We'll see if they try to get in on the action or if they're just going to be a bit more passive, try to get some positioning here on this map. Still, once again, taking a look here at 6N. They're they're going in onto Warrior here. Looks like they should be able to get this knock.
He is very, very weak. He's eating blue. He's going to get taken down. Noped is coming around the corner, seeing if he can flush this. That is going to be down. That is going to be KWT taken out. A good start, but they ran into 6N and weren't able to replicate their success. Bad news for 6N. They're out in the blue.
Yeah, absolutely. And so KWT, kind of sad for them as they go out in 16th, and then I believe in 13th, or 14th rather. So not much of a good shot there. Maybe they can bring it in for tomorrow, but not tonight. As coming on in, Yala looking for the kills. So far they have 0 on this McKendy, but FP getting aggressive in here.
Yeah, so FP leapfrogs that Yala GG fight as well as VT, so they're going to bump heads in just a second. And now GG has pushed up. They are able to secure this house for themselves. Yala has a pretty good spread here. Marley up on the north is going to be covering, trying to make sure that they can't get the flanks up there. See him looking around, making sure no one's coming up and around. But right now, GG mostly up and by this house, so they're pretty clumped up so far. Haven't tried to flank out and see if they can get a different angle just yet. Circle goes away to the northwest now, and it is going to be SNT right in the dead center. 46 still holding a compound for themselves. Haven't seen much out of them, but they started out right in the center of this circle, and they're able to continue to hold their position quite well.
Yala up against GG, the ever-developing battle here, as they've even got players outside the walls just trying to provide some backup. But here comes Steve thinking about an aggressive run in, hearing what he can hear, but a Molotov is going to put a stop to that for now.
Well, what's funny about this fight is it looked like this one was going to happen relatively quickly, but with this hard shift to the west, they can still kind of play it slow, take their time. No one needs to get overly aggressive, potentially make a mistake and get caught out. AM, they are moving to the north of they've got themselves a little bit of a crater up on top of this mountain that they can use. Get a lot of information from up here. You can see quite a bit of this circle, and you've also got quite a bit of terrain to work with to use as cover.
It's a fantastic position if you can hold it here, and so far, I mean, nobody's going to be that aggressive to try to take it from them just yet, but it can lock you down if the circle is very unforgiving and it goes, let's say all the way south. Then you're kind of screwed because you're running down a mountain into enemy lines, so I wouldn't call it a gamble, but it's kind of a risk that they calculated risk in their minds. As shooting going down here, it looks like Hanky from SMP, left alone there, will be taken out.
All right, so SNP and 46 might be fighting each other once again. find out if that one will continue to rage on, as Hanky was kind of on his own, a bit spread out from the other members. VT rolling up on MEA. See what they've got in the tank this time, if they can defend this push, or if this is going to be VT's time to shine. Moha's got that UMPs. He's coming up the stairs. He did not check that bathroom. There you go. Now he's putting some shots through. Seeing if he can find the members of MEA that are up on top. Smokes are coming through. I think that was a frag grenade there to try to back off VT. A great Molotov up on that roof. Completely blocks in VT. They can't get up and over there. They have to wait for that to go. Now they're moving through again. Now that Molotov is gone, Syed is over there. You can see him on the backside of Kaito in the front. And over to FP versus UI now.
Take a look at that circle. Arab Madness, they're feeling pretty good about that one. It's very close to them, so they can mix up their position. The Mountain, of course, going to have many other places to hide and seek and be good and stay alive, as entering the compound now is GG, but Yala holding it down for now.
Yeah, Yala's taking quite a bit of damage, and it's going to be Zero who does get knocked here. One member of GG is very, very hurt. AZ might try to pop around this corner with his Uzi, see if he can pick up two members. They're right in the corner. It is going to be both of them found out and down. GG 2 down. Zako trying to hold the stairs. He has to back up. The blue is here as well. So AZ and the others trying to push up through the stairs. That is going to be one down. Can he hold off this final member that is trying to get through? Zako is very, very weak, going for the heals because now Yala is going for the revive.
I like the safe play from Yala. Just try to back it up as things were getting out of control in this compound. Zico now, the only one left alone, doesn't really have a kill just yet. Finally picks up one, but can he make it happen 1v2 or even 1v3? Rests do get off here. That is the question about how much risk he wants to take. Do you go now, or do you wait and try to catch him off guard?
All right, Master trying a grenade and not succeeding. He's got an AUG, which means they found a crate somewhere along the way. So a little bit of extra utility available. We always talk about that. That's so important. Moa's got a good angle, and he is going to find one member at his Crom there. But Master has found somebody. Naya's just pushing through here, absolutely doing work with that AK, but he's out of bullets, and he is going to get knocked himself. Grave going down. So it is going to be 46. That is able to hold through. They've got two members knocked. Let's see if they can get them up, because we are going to wait on that and go over to MEA Vendetta. You can see confirmed they are down.
As you guys can see, well, another fight coming out here. MEA having a lot of trouble. V8 trying to make it happen. Tiger not quite able to get that kill. It looks like he does get it on the backside.
Oh, sorry, I didn't think he was going to get that, but somehow he does. He has no health. He is holding on by a thread. Bam! Trying to come up and through 6ND. They have found Arrow Madness. It is M7 down and another member down. So B52 is going to drive in that US and pray he can make it out. He is taking a bunch of damage. There are other teams in front of him as well. He is able to stop up though just before that US gets smoked. Going to be able to find time to get that first aid.
Pretty huge for him. He is, I believe, the only person left alive. There's one guy who's knocked, but if you could just hole up in a shack and try to wait it out, you know, improve your position by 3, 4, even 5 teams, that would be ideal. But let's take a look at this next circle. Where is it going to head? Over to the northeast location.
Yeah, no man's land over there. Not really any compounds to work with, so that's going to be an interesting situation. It's going to be fast and furious, but that is going to be the members of Arab Madness found out and taken down. They are going out in 9th place, so a couple more kills going the way of 46. They've got 6 already.
Beginning to get some answers to that as we see a couple of teams showing their faces twice in a row. Taking a look at 6N, they have taken the mountain for now, but Waleed trying to lay down some fire.
Right, we've seen 6N do a good job defending their positions. They've got Lord up ahead in a 1-3 split. He's going to be the front man, getting the recon inside of the circle and securing that location for them as the other 3 members are going to try to make their way over. Yala! 2 members left after that battle between them and GG. Now, GG did back off. They sent 1 member out on his own, try to pick up some placement points. SNT, still 4 strong. They were center of the circle. Now the center left them just a bit. We're going to see how they want to set up into this next situation in front of them, as 46 is in front of them as well. You can see Zigurt is up on that hill, and he has got a pretty nice little vantage point up there. If he kind of creeps forward, and maybe he'll be able to spot out 46. Not too sure exactly how much vision he's going to be able to get. And here goes Yala, making their way around, and UI is out here. This is the guy who was swimming. This is our Michael Phelps, and finally he's out of the water, back on land. Let's see if he can get something done.
But they have locked down Yala here. The first knock is going to come in for this team as UI catching them off guard here, but now Naya from a different location going to pick up a couple of knocks himself.
All right, Naya is putting some serious damage in. That is going to be UI down and out. Really nice job by 46 once again. Hearing the fight over there, immediately pouncing on top of it and picking themselves up some more big kills. That is 9 total. SMP has gone down in the back of this, so our second place team from last round going out in 6th place this time.
Ooh, circle right there on top of 2 teams in the Northwest. As fighting has broken out here, Dobby, he's got eyes on 6N, but they've got a little bit of work to make it into the circle. Onto the bottom of this hill, so it's not so bad, but Dami going to start them off well here for 6N.
Yeah, Zagurt is going to go down in the middle of this circle, trying to make his way up. And so 6N, I believe it was 6N, somebody found him as he tried to get the forward position for SNT, but pays the price for it. That's what makes it different. Yala is going down there as well. So 6N with 17 big kills. They have been just absolutely tearing teams apart. Saw them do it to KWT and some others. So let's see if they can finish this one strong. 4 members up for them. 4 members up for 46. Ooh, Naya is going to get outdueled by Sultan with that AK. So let's see if they can get that revive going. But they got to be careful. They're all grouped up there. Somebody can get a good grenade up and over. They might be able to take him down. Not sure if Sultan has one. He's got a molly, though, so that's going to come through. Maybe make this a little more difficult for them.
Not really going to do the damage he was looking for, but will at least do some zone control. The circle now pushing on in. SNT, awkward spot. They do have to push in against 2-3 teams that are trying to lock them down. As, wow, we still have good game in here. It is only Minchar by himself, slowly trying to prone on up into the circle.
All right, Nope's got a barrel trying to come down the hill and an M4 in his hands. There is a lot of smoke coming out now as these teams, like I said, there isn't a lot of compounds or anything like that in here. So to make your rotations, you got to get some smoke down, try to push on through those die, trying to hold down an angle here, but it is going to be Nope who was found out by Dobby. Nice shooting there with that M16. He's going to push himself out because of, I think there was a grenade that came in there, and that is going to be him down. So this has been an amazing round for 6N, but they are 1 down, and Die is out in the blue taking some damage there. He's going to push on forward. 46 got some cover to work with. Trump's putting some shots in, but he's going to get caught from behind.
It's only Master left available. They have 10 kills total, but take a look at this. 6N with 19. Even if they go down here, it's not the end of the world just because of how many kills they have picked up. As SNT, in contrast, 1 kill for this team. Able to get a knock here, but Waleed in a lot of trouble.
Oh my God, 20 kills here for 6N. This is an absolutely monster round. Finally, Dami goes down here. Master trying to hold down this angle, but he is going to get taken out himself. So 6N is going to go out, and they tried their best. So does 4-6, 4th and 3rd place, respectively, for them. It looks like this could be it for Menchar. He is surrounded on 2 different angles by Sultan. Gonna have to try to outduel him. Is gonna go for this first aid kit. Waleed is knocked here for SNT, so it's actually a 1v1.
Shout out to Minchar, who made it happen by himself, taking some shots now onto Sultan, and moving forward into the smoke. Sultan is going to take him out. That is going to be the win now, going over to SNT.
All right, well, that is a nice game. Only 4 kills for SNT in that one, but overall, you play the position well, you get those 20 points, that's a big deal. GG, good game, not only in the literal sense, but that is also their team name. Only 3 kills, but somehow Menchar is able to sneak out that 2nd place for them. But the real story of that one, 6N, that is madness. 10 kills for Lord.
10 kills for Lord, and I believe it was, let me add this up here, 22 kills total for 6N rather. This team has just catapulted themselves into the upper echelons of this group, Jason.
Yeah, they have done phenomenally. 6N TOs watched them for a decent part of the map, or for that match, and they took down so many teams. Not only did they show they could crash compounds and take them away from teams, they they can then defend against other teams as well. And that's obviously going to be a very important aspect of how that map is going to go. And yeah, they didn't win the entire match. They didn't get home the chicken dinner, but you know what? They got 20 points alone in kills, which is a chicken dinner. So I think we can just give them that one.
That's bananas. That is so good. Any team that can put double-digit kills is great.
Yeah.
Double-digit kills is amazing. 20 kills for them. That's just madness there. And they're doing it in different ways, defending and offense. So this is a well-rounded team that's just put up a masterful performance.
Let me ask you something, Valdez, here real quick. Do you think that they're going to be frustrated they didn't win the chicken dinner after getting 20 kills like that?
I think there's a little bit of pride that does go into that, but at the end of the day, if they just take a step back, they have to know, like, hey, we dominated pretty much any other team, and, you know, we left some points on the table, but that just, even that one game is the star performance you need to make it into day 3, so if I were them, you know, just kind of put my sail up and begin to sail along and not lose too badly tomorrow, and I feel like they should be pretty happy.
Just crazy. Just good stuff. 46, once again, being very impressive. They were granted a pretty nice, favorable circle early on. Later on, they did have to make some moves, and they were able to dust a couple teams and pick up a third-place finish, in terms of placement. So here you can see GG. They were able to buy. This is actually really important here by Zeko. He is buying Menshar the ability to get away from this fight and get them that second-place finish. So you got to give a lot of credit to Zeko in that situation.
You know, I was looking at how the first game finished with 46 Salute getting lucky, getting the revive through, and then clutching out the 2v1. Then looking here, you know, I thought it was a little bit of luck in game 1. I'd say it's definitely more about skill now, as we saw in game 2. Some great performance out of them in general. I think that should 100% be guaranteed now after these 2 games. Their halfway point should be a team that gets through to the final day.
Yeah, I think so. Valdez, what do you think? They got it?
I think they've really just gotten themselves a spot already. You know, might as well just pull up a seat to the table here of day number 3, because as we can see, an immense amount of kills so far that they did take. So 4 ahead of S&T.
That's just nuts. This is just a crazy round. I mean, only 8 placement points. That's good enough. S&T can't take away their win. Well done by them. Good patience, good play. They made a bit of a risky play with Sigurt there when he took that center circle, got taken down, but it still ended up playing out just fine for them. Maybe he was able to get the information they need, but yeah, 49 points. 49 for 46 Luke.
S&T was, I believe, 13th place at the end of game 1 on 23 points. They take home 24 here, rocketing them into 5th place, almost securing themselves a spot into the final day. That was a phenomenal performance, and that's what the effect of winning one game can be, right? Especially with only 4 matches to be played total.
Yeah, just one game. You have a good showing, and that's pretty much all you have to do. Obviously, day 3 is going to be an entirely different story when they do go up against those international teams. So you just want to get that spot and see what you can do, but it's not going to be easy for any of these teams that do make it.
I think it's also important to kind of look at how they're going to perform in day 3 with the opportunity to sit and watch Group B play, maybe analyze how they're going to be going about things. But you know what? I think that's enough from us here on the desk. Let's head down to the stage for an interview with our winning team.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Team 46 Lude, winning first place so far as they are there leading in Group A, the MENA group. So we're going to ask them right now, how does it feel to be first place of Group A? فشنو احساسكم كونكم الان في الصداره في جروب A؟ جروب متحمسين جدا. ممتاز، نروح حق العضو الثاني، شنو احساسك في الصداره؟
الحمد لله، كان حلمنا نشارك بهالبطوله واحساس كثير جميل انه باول يوم نكون باول مركز، شعور كثير جميل.
So far they're excited and they feel beautiful being right now leading in Group A. ما هو احساسك؟ How do you feel?
الحمد لله، احساس بجنن. الحمد لله ادانا اداء حلو ورفعنا راسنا.
Beautiful right now. They feel so proud for pretty much making it in first place. Of course, the last member. How do you feel?
We feel very happy to be here.
Beautiful words right here with the team of 46 Loot. Okay, now, we're gonna ask them another question. Do they feel lucky about their zones and rotations? شنو احساسك بهل كنتم محظوظين بالزونز والروتيشنز؟
كنا محظوظين بالزون
ما في سيطان
وروتيشن ما كانتش كتير
سيطان كلها كنت عدس
كان في باد روتيشن.
So far, they feel lucky about the zones, but not too much about their rotations. All that happening here with right now, the first team leading in the first place of Group A, Mina. This is it so far, and now we're going to be soon enough preparing for Group B with the international team. Stay tuned. It's going to get crazy right here. PUBG Mobile Star Challenge World Cup 2019 Riyadh.
అదే వచ్చేసి బరువు చూసారు అదే 4 కేజీలు అదే పప్పు బాదం కన్నా ఇంట్లో బాగానే ఎత్తుకెళ్ళి అది ఉడకలాగా ఉండదు కాదు అది ఉడకలాగా ఉండదు కాదు ఉడకన మాదిరన్నా పడేది అక్కడ అది ఒంటి పప్పు కారణం ఇలాంటి ఇవ్వాలి ఏమైనా కారణం తక్కువ ఏమన్నా భోజనంలో ఉంటాను ఐదుగురు కాలేజీకి అంటుందో కాలేజీ వెళ్ళాము చిన్నోడికి అయింది పెళ్ళి మా పెద్దోళ్ళు ఇద్దరు పెళ్లి చేసుకోవాలంట పోయే కాలం అక్కడ పెద్దోడు ఇంటి పెద్దోడు చదువుకున్నాడు కానీ ఇంకో సంవత్సరం ఉందాడు చదువు మానేనాడు ఇంటికాడే ఉంటాడు అక్కడ ఎయిర్పోర్ట్లో పనిచేస్తాడు అక్కడేమో పోలీసు స్టేట్గా పోలీసు రావడం తెలియదు ఇంకొట్టరు ఏం పని కొట్టరు అన్నది పుట్టించుకోవట్లేదు మనం కోచింగ్ చేసుకుంటున్నారు కదా సన్నం అయిపోతున్నారు మా ఇంట్లో నన్ను డైటింగ్ చేసేస్తున్నా మనం రావాలండి ఒళ్ళు పెంచరాసలేలో జిమ్కి వెళ్ళిపోతారు డబ్బు కట్టి
PUBG Mobile Star Challenge World Cup in Riyadh. 3 days Battle Royale fighting for $300,000. The most powerful teams are coming to Riyadh. 16 MENA teams and 16 international teams. 2 days of group stage. Top 8 teams of each group will proceed to the finals, with 5 fierce final matches on the last day. Who will be the champion to win the Golden Helmet Trophy? And more. Enjoy the finale show with world-class DJ Alan Walker. December 12th to 14th, PUBG Mobile Star Challenge World Cup in Riyadh.
చూసారా నన్ను మాట ఇందాక మీ ఆయన లేదు నా రోజు బాగుంది Bangalore phone lo company में हम